Cyber defenders need to be aware of a pivot point, a point where the risk or legal liability with respect to cybersecurity transfers. This pivot point is where one organization makes some kind of a statement to another organization about the first organization's cybersecurity. So an example of a statement like this would be an answer to a questionnaire. So one organization can send a questionnaire to a vendor, for example, and it may ask, what steps do you take to manage patches? And so then the vendor might say, well, I follow this kind of a program to manage patches. So in effect, what the vendor is saying is, I am making a commitment that I'm telling you the truth, and if I'm not telling you the truth about how I manage patches, then I could be liable. So cyber defenders should be very aware of anyone making some kind of a statement, some kind of a representation about their cybersecurity, whether that is in answer to a questionnaire, whether it's a representation that's formally in a contract, or another place where this kind of representation could happen would be some kind of a statement that feels informal, such as an electronic mail. So a customer may ask a vendor by electronic mail, what do you do for cybersecurity? And the answer itself could be a transfer of legal liability and legal risk. So the person answering that electronic mail needs to be cautious, careful. Here's an example of this coming up in a lawsuit. Fiserv is a large vendor of information technology services. And it had a customer that was a credit union, a small bank, named Bessemer Systems. Way back in 2012, Fiserv sent an email to the customer in response to a question that says, we follow FFIEC standards for cybersecurity. And FFIEC is federal standards for financial institutions. Fast forward all the way to the year 2020, and Bessemer Systems had a disagreement with Fiserv. So Bessemer Systems sued Fiserv, and a key justification for the lawsuit is, you lied to me. Way back in 2012, 8 years ago, you told me that you comply with FFIEC standards, your cybersecurity is really poor, you don't meet those FFIEC standards, you cause all kinds of problems for me, therefore you owe me a lot of money. And Fiserv tried to get the case kicked out quickly, dismissed quickly, and the judge says, there seems to be some substance to this allegation of lying about cybersecurity, so this lawsuit will go on, and we'll go through the full procedures of this lawsuit, which is a big problem for a large organization like Fiserv. It not only creates protracted litigation, but it also causes a lot of negative publicity as this litigation goes on, and it could lead to a final conclusion of liability. But my bigger point is this. It's not just about the electronic mail from Fiserv. It's about all those places where an organization, through its people, makes a representation about its cybersecurity. And it might just be an email that feels rather informal to some engineer who is sending that, but that becomes a piece of evidence that might show up in a lawsuit 8 years later. Thus, all cyber defenders should be very alert to the places where their organizations, the people they do business with, make representations about what they do for cybersecurity. And thus, smart cyber defenders want to be cautious with the language that they use and say things like, we look to FFIE standards for guidance, rather than we follow FFIEC or we comply with FFIEC. I teach a 5-day course at the SANS Institute. The name of that course is Legal 523, The Law of Data Security and Investigations. You can learn more about that at sans.org. You can also learn more about me and my practice of law at benjaminwright.us. Here in this video, I've given some ideas that can help to address legal compliance or legal risk. Obviously, through this video, I'm not your lawyer, and if you need legal advice, you need to go hire a lawyer to give you specific legal advice. This video is only for public education.